Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to help you get the Zettelkasten of your dreams on your work table beside you. Well, this is the last episode in the series we've been doing called View from the Boxes, where we've been taking a look at the Zettelkasten from the point of view of the physical objects that make it up. Well, I've saved a special one for this last one. It's the newest box in my system. It's even very, very new, but it solves a very old problem in my system. So I'm going to begin with what is it and why would you want one? I'm talking about something I call an incubation box. It wasn't my term, but sadly I can't remember who it was who gave me that word. Shout out to me if it was you and I will credit you. I what it is it's a place that ends up being where you store cards that aren't in your system yet. Sad to say, they tend to build up, and I had about 2 inches thick of those cards, and it was starting to weigh on me. One problem, if you have cards that are in an incubation area that are not in your regular Zettelkasten, they can't interact with the other cards in your system. And it begins to be pretty frustrating when you know you've made a card and you can't find it. It's probably in the incubation box. Well, Mel Jeffcoat did a video, and I'll put a link to it in the comments, on how to do an analog Leitner box. Yes, a Leitner box. And what's that? A Leitner box is a way of doing spaced repetition, where you wanting to learn something, what you want to do is you want to review it just before you are about to forget it. So what you want to do is review it soon, and then a little longer, and a little longer. And finally, when you've reviewed it enough times with a good amount of spacing in there, then you can say, okay, I know it. Mel Jeffcoat does a lovely video explaining all about how to set one up. That box is used to learn things that you want to memorize or come to really know. It occurred to me that a Leitner box might be a great way to keep those cards that are not yet filed in my brain so that I don't lose track of that I have them, and also maybe give me a little punch to get those filed and get them done. So I worked out a plan. Well, when you get to the point where you're supposed to do the final review and decide if you really know them and you're going to put them in the retired box, that's when you've finished a cycle. It gives me an opportunity at spaced repetition, longer and longer waits, to review the cards that are in my Zettelkasten. And that's all I do up until they've all advanced to the point where the longest time gap has occurred, and now it's time to evaluate them. So this is where it differs for me using this as my incubation box. If I were studying something that I was memorizing, if I could still reproduce that word, boom, it would go in the retired box. I'd say, okay, I know that one. But what I'm doing now with those cards that I've pulled for review, the ones that never got filed, I'm taking a hard look at them. Okay, I've been reviewing these for the past several days now. Do you want to keep it? Do you want to throw it away? What are you going to do with it? And for me, there's 3 possible outcomes. Either I'm going to put it into my file it now, which means I'm going to treat it like a card that I produced this morning, and I'm going to file it with my evening cards, and it's going to get done today, period. Or I'm going to look at it and say, that'll make a nice piece of scratch paper. It's blank on the back. And I stick it in my scratch paper area and I say, nope, never going to be a main card. There's a third choice, and that third choice would be, can't make up my mind. All right, well then I'm going to put them into the history. I've got a month divider, and I say, okay, I'll take a look at it again in July, August. And I'll plunk it in the divider for August, only for the ones that I can't make up my mind. And then when August comes around, they'll go back into my incubation area. So the ones that I haven't looked at yet, they're my incubation area, and every day I'm going to draw 5 out of the ones that are supposedly ready to place and 5 out of the ones that are incomplete. I'll complete one more segment on each of the ones that are incomplete. That's part of the job of the day. And I'll just read through the others. Now, if in that process I spot one that is like, oh, that's a gem. How could I have missed putting that in my system? Well, of course, I put it right in with my cards from this morning, the ones that I'm definitely going to put into my system tonight. And if not, then it just goes and advances to the next wider space and time until it gets up to that decision point. So that is basically how it functions. Now, new topic here. I want to explain what I've learned coming out of this exercise because it has been quite amazing. So we covered already why you might want one, a little bit about what goes into it. Not going to cover the specific how-to. Mel Jeffcoat handles that. Now we're going to talk about, well, what about what goes on beyond that? What have I learned from what's in my incubation box? And I found out that except for those rare gems that are going to be put in my file it right now pile, those cards are cards that I had a hard time committing, taking the time and effort it took to put them into my Zettelkasten. And I found out those were the cards that were interesting, but not quite on target for me. Maybe they're valuable to some degree, and I'd like to know this. It just doesn't feel like it's contributing to my mission. So if they're really especially nice, I'll incubate them longer. Maybe some of them will survive. Maybe they'll just become scratch paper. Even in that, I discovered there is a type. And that is sometimes when I'm reading and I get all excited, oh, that's so wonderful, and these are great things, and I love reading them, and I make all kinds of main cards, and then I realize I really did not need 7 main cards on that topic. Yes, it was a nice topic. 1 will do, thank you, and the other 6 can simply become note paper. That was a big group, but there was another big group as well. That was cards that were advice. A lot of it, good advice. What do you want to do with advice? Maybe the last thing in the world you want to do with great advice is to index it and stuff it away in your Zettelkasten, waiting for it to bump into the next piece of the same advice coming around another time. Advice? Advice is something you need to be looking at. Well, I've had problems with that in the past. Maybe you have too. Have you ever thought of something, wow, that says it so well, I really want to remember that, and you make a card for it and you stick it on your desktop, and you're going to look at it on your desktop every day, and then pretty soon it's just in the way? Maybe it was so spectacular that you wrote it on a sticky note and put it on the bathroom mirror. After it was water spotted and curled up, you threw it away. Maybe it was one of those lifestyle things and you stuck it on the refrigerator. How many times did you really look at it? You see, that's the problem with advice. Advice goes stale. The first time you see it, it's like, whoa, that's what I need. And then it's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Advice needs incubation. A Leitner box is the perfect place to put advice. Come across those cards. I haven't looked at them in a long time. 2 inches of cards to be filed. I haven't looked at them in a long time. And I'll get this great piece of advice. Wow, the sky opens up. Read it. Am I going to file it? Put it in the incubation box in the next few days. Read it again a couple days later. Oh yeah, I wanted to remember that. A few days later, oh yeah, I think I'm starting to put that one into practice. And then comes the decision time. What are you going to do with a piece of advice? The same thing that you would do if you couldn't make up your mind what to do with it. Plunk it in the calendar section. A month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, however far down the road that will give you enough time to forget that you read that card. And then let it come back and be fresh advice to you again at some point in the future. And by the time you do those a few cycles, maybe you're actually doing it. So I really think that this Leitner box has just been an eye-opener for me, because I did find that there are really 3 kinds of cards in there. One kind are gems that miss getting processed appropriately. Another kind is stuff that's tangential or duplicate, just doesn't have prime value. The third type is advice that you want to see from time to time, but if you see it all the time, it stops talking to you. And I think a Leitner box is the perfect solution for all of these. So I'm not going to go through card by card by card to show you how to create one. If you want to try it out, get yourself a box, set it up. Mel Jeffcoat will show you how, and be prepared to be surprised at how much you're going to learn, because even a compost heap needs to be turned or it's not going to create beautiful, wonderful soil from which things can grow. Talk to you next time, and look for tomorrow, a brand new series. And I'm not going to be a spoiler. I'm not going to tell you what it is. See you tomorrow for that. Bye-bye.